back on this small scale build, and we got a bit more work done since the last time I gave you an update. The chassis is now just about completely finished. I decided to go with this Vallejo Gunmetal Blue, which is a beautiful color, for the subframe assemblies. So you can see how nicely it contrasts with the high gloss chromium blue, I guess I call it, which is really just candy blue over the all clad silver, what is it, polished, no, airframe aluminum, which gives it a really highly reflective blue color, which is exactly what I was looking for. Now, one side benefit of that was the fuel tank and the trunk, the overspray that I got on that. I was going to repaint it and eliminate all of that, but I just really kind of like the way that looks. So I'm going to leave that just the way it is because I just think it looks kind of cool. Don't ask me why, I just kind of like it. Now you can see the rear subframes are done in the Vallejo Gunmetal Blue. The front subframe done in gunmetal blue. We have a few black accents such as the spring perches and the motor mount assemblies. The motor mounts themselves are in flat black from Tamiya. The spring perches here are in the Tamiya semi-gloss black over the all-clad chrome, which gives it a really nice high polished look, which I kind of like. And then we just finished detailing the lower half of the engine. Of course, we have an AC Delco filter on it because it is a GM product. The transmission is painted. The engine itself, the starter, really is a nice looking, for a small size like this, it really is nicely detailed. And still, I am amazed that it's almost a carbon copy of the 1985 1/24th scale kit. So that's just blowing me away how similar these two are, which means that there must be some direct link between these two kits because they assemble the same. Almost everything is the same. There's just one glaring difference that I've seen so far, which I'll point out when we're ready to start working on the body. So now we just have to attach the engine, upper half of the engine and transmission together. And this portion of the, well, and the engine will be done. It'll be installed and we'll be done with it. So we're going to put a little glue on that now, assemble that, install the radiator and the exhaust, and we'll be on our way. Okay guys, the engine is now glued in position. One thing I wanted to tell you about this. When you're building this kit, the engine has one pin that in the block that connects to the oil pan. That centers the engine in the front, but you have to be careful in the rear. There is nothing to center the transmission. So you have to be careful when you're installing that to make sure that you're totally centered so that you'll have your opening for the drive shaft totally squared away. Because you're going to notice when you put the engine in, it's going to want to swivel side to side as it's not really a super flush fit. And you're going to have to just be a little careful with that when you're putting it together. Other than that, it goes in nice, smooth, and just looks really good in there. I'm not a big fan of these types of build where the engines are half in the car, but this one actually came out really nicely. I'm really happy with the coloring on it. Okay, so let's keep going with this. Okay, guys, here's the finished product. Take a look at that chrome. Came out beautiful. Using the all-clad aircraft aluminum. It just looks frigging amazing. Alright, guys. Now, while I'm waiting for parts to dry on the 82 Camaro for the small scale group build, I figured I'd try and see if I could fit in one of the bonus builds that I told you guys about. So I started working on the Ferrari and Jaguar Glencoe models. These are, I forget what scale they are. I'll put it up on the screen if I remember. And as tiny as these little things are, as you can see by my hand, they're about the size of maybe a Hot Wheels car, maybe 1/64th, maybe. They require a lot of work. These are made from old tooling, old molds, and they are really very cool, but they are going to require a lot of work. The Ferrari, for instance, the nose was the lower part of the nose, you can see here, was a separate part, which was part of the chassis here. So when I put them together, and I wish I had filmed that, there were so many gaps that had to be filled in, and it fit so unevenly that there was no way I was going to be able to get the chassis to sit straight and get the front end to look like this. So what I did was I cut off the lower portion of the nose. You can see here the line where the two parts come together. I cut that off of the end of the chassis here and proceeded to attach it to the body, fill in the seams, and I think I got it going. I think I got it pretty good now. I'm gonna have to throw some primer on it and see how well it looks after that. And while I was doing that, I rescribed the panel lines, which were so shallow. You can see here on the trunk, I didn't do the trunk or the hood because I think those are going to show pretty well. But the door lines were almost non-existent, so I rescribed that. And then I found two really deep holes, low spots in the body here, which had to be filled in. And I think I got those pretty well. After primer, we'll know, but this body required quite a bit of work for such a tiny little thing. Now, to fill in those low spots, I used the Tamiya liquid surface primer. I really love this stuff. It works really well for filling in tiny little areas. It really helped me to join these two parts of the nose together. There's going to be a grill here, so I'm not really that concerned with the fact that the opening is not 100% round, as you can see on the sides there. If we can focus on this, there's a little bit of, it's not perfectly round. There we go. But that's not going to matter because there should be a grill covering that. I mean, these little kits are really amazing for what they are and what they bring for you to do. Now, one other issue we have is that the chassis is slightly warped, so I'm going to have to heat it up and give it a little bit of a bend. We're going to do all the detail painting down here, which should be fun to do on this tiny little thing. And we also started the Jaguar. Now, Jaguar also needed to have all the panel lines rescribed, so that's all in there. It was a little tough on the trunk, but I'm going to have to clean that up a bit. And let's see, can we focus on that? And the Jaguar body is actually pretty decent. We have the chassis and several other parts in primer. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 builds going on almost at once. This is really going to make me crazy at some point. So we're going to get back on these, and we're going to go and see what we can do by adding color to the chromed out body of the Camaro. Wish me luck. This may work or it may not. Okay, guys, now I've got to start adding some color to the chrome. Now, the first place I'm going to start is with the underside of the passenger compartment, because that's actually the part of the floorboard which you'll be able to see underneath the car if you look at the chassis. So that's got to pretty much match what the rest of the chassis color is. So it looks like it's all just one solid floorboard. Now we're going to start adding color to the body panels. Just started by laying it first an initial thin layer of paint just to give the paints that the layers that follow it something to grip onto. Now, I'm not going to show you the entire process because I don't want to show you the final color just yet. That's going to be at the big reveal at the end of this series. So I'm just going to let you take a look at what it takes to put a layer of color on here. I'm using the All-Clad Electric Blue Candy paint, and it's an enamel paint, which I didn't realize until after I had started painting with it. I thought they were all lacquers, but I guess I was wrong about that. So, not really the same as using a lacquer, but I made it work, I think, for the most part. We don't know yet because this could have all blown up right in my face. So now I'm just going to add a little color to the body. So you guys can see this turn from chrome, and you're going to start to see it turn blue as I'm painting. Basically just simple strokes laying. You're going to have to layer this color up. And once it starts building up, you're going to start to see it change. So it's a really, really amazing color. And the final result is just blew me away. Not really the color that I was originally going for, but much better than what I had in mind. So we're going to do a little bit of painting on the body, but like I said, no peeking. We're not going to see the end result until the big reveal. Right, guys, I'm going to end this video right here with a quick look at the second of the small scale group builds, which is the Ferrari body, which has been painted and just needs a good polishing out. We have the chassis here ready for detailing, and here we have the entire chassis and interior of the Camaro, which is all done. Still not going to show you the body yet because I don't want to spoil the big reveal. And not to mention that I ran into a little bit of trouble. So it's going to be a tight one to try and get that finished. But let's just hope it works. All right, guys. I'm going to let you go with this one. And I will see you on the next update, which will probably be the last one. Unless I don't get it finished. In which case, then there'll be more. But I just will have failed. Okay, guys. See you on the next one.